Natural hazards are powerful events that can change the world in just moments. These are not just ordinary occurrences, they are forces of nature that can reshape landscapes, impact communities, and even alter the course of history. They can shake the ground beneath our feet, move entire mountains, and flood cities in a matter of hours. Sometimes they strike without warning, leaving little time to react. These events are called natural hazards because they happen naturally, often with little human influence, and can sometimes be extremely dangerous to people, animals, and the environment. Understanding natural hazards is important because they can affect anyone, anywhere, at any time, no matter where you live or how prepared you think you are. Learning about these hazards helps us stay safe by teaching us what to do before, during, and after an event. It also helps us prepare our homes and families for emergencies. Studying natural hazards also helps us understand how our amazing planet works, from the shifting of tectonic plates deep underground to the powerful forces that drive volcanoes and storms. When we know more, we can make smarter choices to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and our communities. Preparation can save lives and reduce damage. Plus, natural hazards are full of fascinating science. Scientists study these events to predict when and where they might happen, and to help keep people safe. The Earth is always changing and moving in ways we can't always see. Sometimes, these changes are slow and gentle, but other times, they are sudden and dramatic. Many people think natural hazards only happen far away or in other countries, but that's not true. These events can happen close to home, sometimes when we least expect it, and can affect our own neighborhoods and schools. That's why it's so important to be curious, ask questions, and learn as much as we can about the world around us. This guide will take you on an exciting journey through some of the most powerful, and sometimes scary, natural hazards on Earth, showing you what makes each one unique. Get ready to discover how earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, hurricanes, floods, and wildfires happen, and why they matter to all of us. You'll also learn some amazing facts, find out how to stay safe, and discover what to do if a natural hazard ever happens near you. Let's get started. Have you ever felt the ground move under your feet? That could be an earthquake. Earthquakes happen when pieces of the Earth's crust, called tectonic plates, move and bump into each other. Sometimes these plates get stuck, and when they finally move, the ground shakes. The place where the earthquake starts is called the focus. The spot right above it on the ground is the epicenter. Earthquakes can be small or so big that they shake whole cities. Most earthquakes last only a few seconds, but they can cause a lot of damage. Some places in the world have more earthquakes than others. For example, Japan, California in the United States, and Chile are well known for earthquakes. Scientists use special machines called seismographs to measure how strong earthquakes are. Did you know the biggest earthquake ever recorded was in Chile in 1960? It was so strong it made the whole planet vibrate for days. Even though earthquakes happen suddenly, learning about them can help us stay safe. Volcanoes are mountains that can erupt with hot lava, ash, and gases. This happens when magma, which is melted rock from deep inside the earth, pushes its way to the surface. When the magma comes out, we call it lava. Sometimes volcanoes can be quiet for years and then suddenly erupt. Volcano eruptions can look like fireworks, but they are much more powerful. Lava can flow down the sides of the volcano and destroy everything in its path. Ash can fill the sky and make it hard to breathe. Some volcanoes explode with thunderous force, while others just ooze lava slowly. There are many types of volcanoes. Some are tall and cone-shaped, like Mount Fuji in Japan. Others are flat and wide, like those in Hawaii. Each eruption is different. Some last a few hours, others for years. Did you know that about 1,500 volcanoes are still active around the world today? Some people even live close to volcanoes because the soil there is very good for growing plants. Tsunamis are enormous waves of water that can suddenly crash onto land, flooding everything in their path and causing massive destruction. These waves are much bigger and more powerful than regular ocean waves, and they can travel for miles inland, sweeping away anything in their way. Most tsunamis begin after a powerful earthquake shakes the ocean floor deep beneath the water's surface. The energy from the earthquake is transferred to the water above, setting the stage for a giant wave to form. When the earthquake moves or shifts the sea floor, it pushes a huge amount of water upward, creating a wave that spreads out in all directions. This sudden movement can displace millions of tons of water in just seconds. Sometimes tsunamis are triggered by other dramatic events, like volcanic eruptions near the ocean or massive landslides under the sea. These events can also push water suddenly, starting a tsunami. Once a tsunami forms, it can travel across the open ocean at incredible speeds, up to 500 miles per hour, or 800 kilometers per hour. That means a tsunami can cross entire oceans in just a few hours. That's as fast as a jet airplane flying through the sky. Imagine a wave moving as quickly as a plane. It's hard to believe, but it's true. In the deep ocean, a tsunami wave is often almost invisible. The surface of the water might look calm and peaceful, hiding the powerful wave moving silently below. But as the tsunami approaches shallow water near the coast, it slows down and grows much taller and stronger, turning into a giant wall of water that can tower over buildings. Waves from a tsunami can smash through buildings, toss cars like toys, and uproot even the strongest trees, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Sometimes, before a tsunami hits, people at the beach might notice the water suddenly pulling back, exposing the sea floor and leaving fish stranded on the sand. This is a natural warning sign that a tsunami is coming, and it means everyone should run to higher ground immediately to stay safe. One of the most devastating tsunamis in history happened in 2004 in the Indian Ocean, shocking the world with its power. It was caused by a massive earthquake and affected many countries, destroying entire communities along the coasts of Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, and more. Over 200,000 people lost their lives or were forced to leave their homes, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters ever recorded. That's why it's so important to know the warning signs of a tsunami and to act quickly if you ever see the water pulling back or hear a tsunami alert. Being prepared and moving to higher ground can save lives. Hurricanes are giant storms with incredibly strong winds and heavy pounding rain. These powerful storms can stretch for hundreds of miles across the sky, swirling with energy and force. They form over warm ocean water near the equator, where the sun heats the sea and creates the perfect conditions for storms to begin. When warm, wet air rises from the ocean, it starts to spin and form thick, swirling clouds. This spinning motion is caused by the rotation of the Earth, which helps the storm grow and organize. If the conditions are just right, like enough moisture, warm water, and steady winds, a hurricane can grow bigger and more powerful, sometimes becoming a massive force of nature. Hurricanes are called different names in different places around the world, depending on where they form. In Asia, these storms are known as typhoons, and they can be just as fierce and destructive. In Australia and parts of the Indian Ocean, they're called cyclones, but they're really the same type of storm. No matter the name, hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones can all be very dangerous, causing flooding, destruction, and even forcing people to leave their homes. The center of a hurricane is called the eye, and it's one of the most fascinating parts of the storm. It's calm and peaceful in the eye, with blue skies above, but the winds swirling around it are extremely strong and dangerous. Hurricanes can last for days, sometimes even over a week, and travel hundreds or even thousands of miles across the ocean and land. They can bring heavy flooding, knock down trees, and damage buildings, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Some hurricanes are so enormous that, wow, you can actually see them from space. Astronauts on the International Space Station often capture amazing photos of these storms. The strongest hurricane wind ever recorded was over 215 miles per hour. That's 346 kilometers per hour. That's faster than most race cars. Hurricanes usually happen from June to November in the Atlantic Ocean, which is known as hurricane season. This is when the ocean is warmest and storms are most likely to form. Knowing when a hurricane is coming can help people get ready and stay safe. People board up windows, gather supplies, and listen to weather alerts to protect themselves and their families. Floods happen when there is just too much water in one place. This can be caused by heavy rain, hurricanes, or when rivers overflow. Sometimes snow melts really quickly in the spring and causes floods too. Floods can actually happen almost anywhere in the world. When water rises, it can cover roads, fields, and even homes. Floods can come on fast, called flash floods, or they can take days to grow. Even just a few inches of water can move cars or knock people down, which is pretty surprising. That's why it's so important to stay away from floodwaters. Some of the worst floods in history have covered whole cities. In 1931, a flood in China caused millions of people to lose their homes. Today, scientists use weather forecasts to to warn people about possible floods. Did you know that floods are the most common natural hazard in the world? They can happen in deserts, cities, and farms. Learning how to prepare for floods can really help save lives. Wildfires are big fires that burn forests, grasslands, or fields. They can start from lightning, a campfire, or even sparks from power lines. When the weather is hot and dry, wildfires can spread very quickly. Wildfires can be scary because they move fast and make lots of smoke. They can even jump across roads and rivers. Firefighters work really hard to stop wildfires from spreading to homes and towns. Sometimes wildfires are just too big to control and burn for weeks. But not all wildfires are bad. Some plants actually need fire to grow. Fire clears out old plants and helps new ones start. But when wildfires get too large, they can harm animals, people, and the environment. In 2020, wildfires in Australia burned millions of acres and affected many animals, including koalas. Wildfires can happen in many places, so it's important to be careful with fire, especially in dry weather. Natural hazards are not just dangerous, they are also full of surprises. For example, did you know that there are more than 500,000 earthquakes every year? Most are too small to feel, but the Earth is always moving. Some volcanoes even have blue lava. This happens when certain gases burn and make blue flames. In Indonesia, the Kawah Ijen volcano glows bright blue at night. Tsunamis can cross whole oceans. In 2011, a tsunami traveled from Japan all the way to the west coast of the United States. That's over 5,000 miles, or 8,000 kilometers. Hurricanes are so big that dozens of airplanes can fly inside the eye at the same time. And did you know that a single hurricane can release more energy than 10,000 nuclear bombs? Nature is powerful, and honestly, full of wonders. Now that you know about natural hazards, it's time to learn how to stay safe. First, always listen to warnings from scientists and weather experts. They use special tools to tell when a hazard might happen. Have a plan with your family. Know where to go if there is an earthquake, flood, or wildfire. Keep an emergency kit ready with water, food, and first aid supplies. Practice what to do so you are ready if something happens. During a hazard, stay calm and follow instructions. Don't go near dangerous places like floodwaters or burning areas. If you live near the coast, know the tsunami evacuation routes. If you live in an area with hurricanes, have a safe place to shelter. Remember, learning and being prepared is the best way to stay safe. Nature can be wild, but with knowledge and care, you can protect yourself and help others too.